So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now, and all you have to do is put in ZW Games 5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below.
Hello YouTube, this is Joe from Zexal Games, and I'm bringing to you guys an update to my Utopia deck. Now, this is incorporating the Zexal weapons into it, which shout outs to subscribers out there for asking for a Zexal weapon build, because if it wasn't for your request, I wouldn't have looked into the Zexal weapons, and notice how really good they are for Utopia, enabling some good protection plays, but also upping your attack damage for more OTKs and more easier OTKs using the new Utopia combo. So I'm going to run through the deck, explain my card choices, my card ratios, and also explain a engine which I've thought of using the new Utopia cards for essentially any deck, and I'll explain that at the end. So that's done, let's get into it. So we have three Utopic Onomatopoeia, essentially pretty much the best card in the deck, just because with normal special summon you can special summon any of the Go-Go-Go Dododos Onomatopoeia monsters from your hand, one each, but then you're locked into XDs for the rest of the turn, which I like how they've done that, meaning that it still gives you options to link beforehand and then go into your XDs plays, but most of the time it's just going to go into your rank 4 and try and swing for a game. Next we have 3 Dododo Witch. Normal special summon, you can special summon 1 Dododo from your hand. It's really good, just lets you go into your rank 4s. And then we have Dododo Driver. If you want to play some rank 3s in your extra deck, you're more than welcome to, because this guy either increases or decreases Dododo's levels up to twice per turn by 1. But you're mostly using him for your rank 4s and on occasions your rank 5s. And then we have 2 Dododo Buster. I like this one just because you can special summon as a Cyber Dragon from your hand, and his level drops to 4. But otherwise, he's mostly in here as well as a target for your Dododo draw. I think he's like the 3rd best Dododo there is at the moment. Then we have 3 Go-Go-Go Giant. On normal summon, you can special summon 1 Go-Go-Go from your graveyard. Switch both of them to defense mode. And then that's it really. So it's really good for your revival plays and rank 4 plays from the graveyard. Then we have 1 Go-Go-Go Golem as a target for that. Your other target is obviously your Utopic Onomatopoeia, because he counts as a Go-Go-Go from anywhere. And then I like to play 1 Golden Form just as a main deck boss monster, a beat stick, you could say, because you contribute 1 Go-Go-Go special summon this card, and his attack becomes double that attack of the monster you tributed, but he only does half damage that turn. He only does half damage in general. So at most he can jump up to 4k. He also introduced himself by 1500 to negate targeting effects, which is really good. And then I played 2 Summoner Monks. The reason for this is that you play a lot of spells in this deck, a lot of spells that can be either dead or have multiple copies. And so this helps you go into your rank 4 plays using monsters essentially in your deck by just discarding spells, which is really good for the deck. It also helps you enable some link plays, especially if you want to up this guy to 3, because you just go monk into a monk and into something else. Which is really good. So you can go monk into another monk, then make your link 2, then use the 3rd monk to go into something else. So takes a lot of hand advantage. You essentially need 3 spells in your hand that you don't want to use. But if you're going for the Utopia OTK, you don't really need any other spells. So I like the Summoner Monk, not just for that combo, but just for the fact that, again, as I said, helps you get to your level 4s from the deck and just additional level 4s. And getting the most of out of your spells. And I play 3 Zexal weapons in the forms of 1 Lightning Blade, 1 Tornado Bringer, and 1 Azure Strike. I think these are the best Zexal weapons out of the Zexal weapons. Just because they all give you attack increases and all help facilitate either protection or OTKs. So Lightning Blade that you can target one Utopia monster you control, equip this card from your hand or side of the field to that target. It gains 1200 attack, and while this card is equipped to a monster, face-up Zexal weapon cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If a monster equipped with this card would be destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy this card instead. You can only control one Zexal weapon, Lightning Blade. Absolutely amazing card. Gives your Zexal weapons protection and your Utopia protection as well as a buff. Then we have Tornado Bringer. You can target Utopia you control, equip Utopia monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or side of the field to that target. It gains 1300 attack, and while this card is equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot target that monster with card effects. If a monster equipped with this card would be destroyed by battle, destroy this card instead. You can only control one Tornado Bringer. And then we have Zexal Weapon. Zexal Weapon as your strike. You can target one Utopia monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or side of the field to that target. It gains 1000 attack, and while this card is equipped to a monster, that monster can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. And this guy is a level 4, the other two are level 5s. So this guy can help you with your rank 4 plays if needed. But otherwise they all can equip to any Utopia, which is one of the reasons why I picked these as well. Means that no matter which Utopia I got in my extra deck onto the field, I can just slap this onto it, give it some attack, and give it some extra protection and multiple attacks in the forms of as your bow, as your strike. And the reason I'm only playing one of each is because, moving on to the spells as well, I play 2 copies of Shining Draw. Now what Shining Draw does is that to activate this card you must draw it during your normal draw in your draw phase, reveal it and keep it revealed until the main phase 1. During your main phase 1 that same turn, you can target one Utopia Xyz you control, then activate one of these effects. Equip any number of Zexal weapon monsters with different names from your deck or extra deck to that monster. Or you can special summon from your extra deck one Utopia Xyz with a different name from that target by using that target as material. This is free as Xyz summon transfers materials to that summoned monster. You're rarely ever going to use that secondary effect of essentially just ranking up, but it's there if you want to. You're mostly using this to equip all of these plus one from your extra deck, which you probably guess who it is, from your deck to that Utopia, and just go off from there. So Shining Draw is essentially 2 extra copies of all of your Zexal weapons. If you wanted to, you could just take this out, and if you want, then what I would recommend is playing one each of these, Tornado Bringer and Lightning Blade. That would be my recommendation. But this is my ratio at the moment. It's been doing quite well. You're not focused on the Zexal weapons. The Zexal weapons are there to give you additional plays and extra protection if you so happen to have them. Otherwise, you're fine to just go with your Utopia play as normal. That's how I think the Zexal weapons should be played, as just as an option, not as a focus. Because if you're focusing on them, you're going to brick. The level 5s, the best ones are level 5s. The only good one that isn't those is Azure Bow, so you're going to brick on them. If Onomatopoeia, Utopic Onomatopoeia could summon Zexal weapons as well from your hand, then yeah, go for it. But it doesn't, so that's why. Then we're having 3 copies of Onomatopoeia. Adds either 2 of each from your deck to your hand of Gaga, Dododo, and Gaga, and Go. For this deck, basically, either Gogo or Dododo, one of each of those, or one Utopic Onomatopoeia. 3 copies of Exchange Tactics. You want to really see this because it adds so much consistency to your deck. Each time you summon a Utopia, pay 500 life points, draw an additional card. And then we're playing 1 copy of Dododo Draw. You can up this to 2 copies if you want to. You play plenty of targets in your deck. So if you wanted to play multiple copies of this, you're more than welcome. Then we're playing 1 Rota, Search of Your Warriors. 2 copies of Double Up Chance, or Double or Nothing in terms of TCG. I'm so used to the Japanese one, Double Up Chance. You play 2 because you open with 1, you have a target left in your deck. 1 copy of Rising Sun Slash. I only had a foreign copy of this card, so let me just quickly bring it up for you guys. It is a pretty cool equip card. So Rising Sun Slash is an equip only to a Utopia monster. It cannot be destroyed by battle. It cannot be destroyed by card effects, and each time an attack is negated, place 1 Rising Sun counter on this card. The equipped monster gains 500 attack for each Rising Sun counter on this card. And if the equipped monster you control with detachable material to activate its effect, you can treat this card as one of the Exceeds materials. So it's a nice equipped card for the deck. Testing it out, when you have it, it's really good. Just because you equip it to your Utopia, you attack, negate, he jumps up to 5,500, then you play your Double Up Chance, and it becomes 11,000. So with this in combo with this, you gain an extra 1,000 attack, which is nice. Then we're having 2 rank up spells for your either standard rank up plays or your Zexal play if you need to, if you're forced to go first, which is 1 copy of Rank Up Magic Numon Force and 1 copy of Rank Up Magic Astral Force. This just helps you go into any of your rank 5 Utopias, and I'm so happy I've got a ultimate rare. Really cheap, to be honest. But this just helps you go into any of your rank 5 Utopia plays if you want to. You have that option, as well as just general negation if you do so. And the Astral Force just helps you go into Utopia Beyond, and that's just really it, to be honest. Then we're playing 1 Monster Reborn and 3 copies of Call by the Grave, because you don't want to be hand trapped while you're trying to go for your OTK. That's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. 3 copies of Utopia. Pretty standard. It is your go-to monster. It's the one you're going to go to all the time. So you want to have 3 copies because it's, again, the one you're going to go to all the time. Then we're having 2 copies of Utopia Double. I like to play 2 copies just because if one fails, I have a backup. So that's the reason I play 2 copies. 1 copy of C39 Utopia Ray. This helps you just abuse the power of XC's change tactics, just to get you more draws. Then we have 2 copies of Lightning. You can play 3 copies if you want to, but I had to reduce the numbers down to 2 just to fit other cards in the extra deck. And then we have 1 copy of Zexal Weapon Leo Arms. This is your only Zexal weapon in the extra deck. Takes 2 level 5 monsters, so you'll play with Dodo the Driver. You can go into this guy. This card cannot attack your opponent directly, and once per turn you can detach 1 Exceeds material from this card, add 1 Zexal weapon monster from your deck to your hand. So I guess if you go into this and then get rid of it somehow to make room for your Utopia, you can search a Zexal weapon, and you can target 1 Utopia monster you control, equip this monster on the field to that target. It gains 3,000 attack, and during your battle phase, if a monster attacked this turn while equipped with this card, you can send this equipped card to the graveyard. The monster that was equipped with this card can attack a second. You can make a second attack on an opponent's monster during the battle phase. So yeah, that's basically it. It gains 3k attack, and you can send it to the graveyard and attack again. So it's okay. I'll mostly just play it in here just as an additional target for my Shining Draw. Though in all honesty, you can probably go without it. It's not important. It's not detrimental. So it's just in here for an option. Then we have 1 number C Utopia Ray Victory. This is your main target for your Numon Force, which if this card attacks your opponent can activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step, and if this card's Utopia sees material against this effect, When this card declares an attack on the face-up monster your opponent controls, you can detach a material from this card. Negate the opponent's face-up monster's effects. Also, this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack. These changes last until the end of this turn. It starts outside at 2800. So, strong monster. If you're going for the Numon Force, it is a viable good target to go into. So, I do like him as an option. Then we have one number 39 Utopia Beyond. And then one SO Utopia Zexal. Obviously, for the, I have to go first. Cool, you can just not play for a turn. I'm happy with that. And then number 101 Silent Honor Arc as my last XCs for the extra deck. And then we have Pentstag and a Isolde for the Link 2 targets. Isolde is just pretty standard for warrior decks. And Pentstag was a advice given to by a subscriber. Sorry, I can't remember who you were, who it was, but it is a cool target for this extra deck because if you summon this and then make your Utopia play, you've got a 10k Utopia that can do piercing. So, really cool trick there. But that, guys, is the deck. I hope you all enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below what you think of this build. I think I'm going to stick with this build, to be perfectly honest. It still plays like a Utopia, like the previous Utopia deck, except you got the Zexal weapons as a nice little bonus option. Oh, and before we go, just to say, the idea that I was having is that essentially any deck that makes rank 4s can just play this, and then you've got an OTK inherently built into your deck without having to essentially change the way that you play. The only thing you're adding to your main deck is one copy of Double or Nothing, at the very least, and then your deck has an inherent OTK. I'm definitely going to be testing it in my Galaxies, because Galaxies can just make a board of the Soulflare Dragon, a rank 8, and then a Utopia with 5k attack. So, because they're still light monsters, so Photon Sanctuary doesn't lock me out from summoning them, which is really, really cool. So I'm definitely going to be testing that out. And as well as that, and Utopia Double doesn't prevent your other monsters from attacking. So, and your other optional plays is that if you do a board like that, you can attack with something, then negate that attack with Utopia. Then you can play double up chance and double that monster's attack. It doesn't have to be the Utopia. Utopia can just attack with 5k from the double Utopia. So, little option for you there, guys, as well. So, as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe. And until the next time, guys, as always, happy dueling.
What's up, YouTube? Dad here from Zexal Games. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, please hit that big thumbs up button in the bottom corner as well. And don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you click that notification bell as well so you know every time one of our new videos goes up. Throughout the whole year of 2019, we're going to have more deck profiles, duels, and of course pack openings for you guys to watch and enjoy the entire year round. So stay tuned for more, and as always, guys, happy dueling.